I would like to take a minute of your time and talk about what is going on in the media at the moment about Michael Jackson and why. Because I'm getting sick and tired of Wade and James and celebrities hopping up YouTube videos to talk trash about a fellow artist, which is absolutely disgusting. It's appalling the way people talk and treat Michael. How can I put this? If you have something good to say, if you actually have facts, and Randy Jackson has the key to destroying Everland, I want her to do it. I want her to actually do it, because what this show has actually done is promoted lies. It's promoted god awful things that are not even true at all. And Anne Reid has produced it. You would think a producer would have to have his facts straight before even running a documentary that is going to be seen everywhere. It is ridiculous and it's disgusting. I just can't believe an actual producer would put up garbage. And opera. I've always liked opera, but ever since she has had Wade and James on her show to talk about abuse, I've lost a little bit of respect for her, because Wade, especially Wade, is a manipulator, hands down, straight manipulator, and it's ridiculous the lengths he will go to have or extort money off the Jacksons. There is another video on YouTube explaining why he's going to sue the Jackson family. The Jacksons do not need to give him any more money. They really don't. Money he's not even entitled to. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's horrendous. And Wade and James, at the moment, they are thriving on attention. They love it. They love the camera. They want you to feed into what they are telling you. They haven't been abused. You can tell an actual abused victim and plain acting as to how they think they should act like on camera. There's a difference. There's a complete difference. Before I even looked into this documentary and I looked into Michael Jackson, I was talking to my sister, and my sister was telling me that I really ought to watch this documentary before I make any comments at all, which was a fair enough statement. Or the more I thought about it, I didn't want to watch it, because I knew that this documentary was going to make Michael out to be some kind of monster. I honest to God knew that, and that is really one-sided. So I wanted to do my own research and find out things, and I did. So I began at first listening to his parents, and they would have an idea of what their son is all about. They would have a general understanding of him because they are his parents, they've lived with him, they get to learn his personality of what he is like as a person. However, Lisa would have a more deeper bond because Lisa was his wife, and I am more inclined to believe her than Martin, who did this Living with Michael Jackson documentary, because he really sold it. He's like, this is what living with Michael Jackson is really like. No. He saw a part of him, not everything. Lisa was his wife. Lisa was the one who lived with him. And I can tell you this now. My family have a good understanding of me as a person. But my husband knows me better. My husband lives with me. He gets to see what I'm like when I'm angry. When I'm upset, he would have an all rounded opinion of me, because when you are in love with a person, you don't put up a facade. They get to see you for the real you, the real person. This is how love works. Real love works. And I felt that with Lisa wasn't going to paint a sunshine and roses picture. I felt that with Lisa, she was very honest, and I've never felt that she's talked badly about Michael at all. What Lisa does do is explain her relationship with him and what it was like, what Michael was like. So do you get what I'm coming at? Don't look through the media. Honest to God, don't. And then after all of that, I watched video after video on YouTube about him where he's doing the talking, not the interviewer, which a lot of interviewers, what they do is when they have an opinion, they talk over him. And Michael, if you listen to him, he is telling us how he thinks. Like, his mind doesn't run that way. That he thinks this and he thinks that, and he's very opinionated in his own way. And so when he's telling people, why can't you share your bed? It is the most loving thing to do in the world. Well, I do agree with that. I agree that it is the most loving thing to do in the world, but with my husband, with my kids, with my niece and my nephew or something like that. But I personally, I wouldn't have people, other kids sleep in my bedroom. That's just me. But the thing is, with Michael, these kids would never leave him alone. He could never go to the toilet in peace. Lisa has even told us this. These kids are with Michael 24/7. They want his attention. They want him to play with them all the time. And half the time he is more than happy to do this. The thing is though, I mean, I have done it in another video. He's a big kid and he knows, he connects to all these other kids through pain and sorrow. He's an incredibly in-depth person. He feels things. He can feel their anger from the other side of the room. He can feel their sadness. He knows when they're in pain, and if a child comes to him and wants to be next to him, he gives up his bed. He gives up his bed and lets the child sleep in this bed. And I know he's convinced himself that it's the kindest thing to do, which it is, honest God is, but he is gonna need his bed. He's not a young boy, as he tells people. Nature takes its course, and at times he's going to have to sleep in this bed. So he, you know, because he's convinced himself he's not a murderer, he's a nice, kind person, he would never do that, then he sleeps in the bed. That is probably the only reason, why he has. And it's, you know, I mean, half the time he asks people why can't you share your bed? Well, he never gets an answer. He just hears it's weird, it's not right. That's all he's hearing. And what this is people's opinions. It's like the sort of conversation you'd have with a kid. Mum, I want to do this. No. Why? Because I said so. No. Why? You know, it's a little bit like that. And if you tell them because it's wrong, because it's weird, those aren't answers. Those are your opinions. You have to use your words. You have to explain why something isn't right. Because, and Michael keeps telling us, his mind doesn't run that way. There needed to be boundaries. Then needed a person to tell these kids, this is your time to play with Michael. Yeah, this is a time for this and that. And this, walking in on a man when he is peeing, is something you should not do. These kids followed him to the toilets. And Lisa was openly admitted this. It's ridiculous. And I can't exactly blame him. I can't blame the guy, but I don't think he could say no. Because I think deep down at the end of the day, he just wanted to be liked. He wanted to be loved, and he also wanted to be adored. And if you keep telling a kid, no, you can't do this, blah, 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 you know, the kids are like, well, you know. And the kids, all of them, they loved him completely. They wanted to spend time with him. They wanted to sleep over. And, you know, it's And then, how can I put this now? There was a picture in this living documentary. There was a picture of Michael, with a cradle thing around his head, and there was kids all around him, and at first you think, oh, that's wrong, that's disturbing. That's what some people might think. But if you think of art, there was always a message behind art. What that was kids adoring him. That was kids at his feet, by his side, thinking how wonderful he is. And to be fair, he was wonderful. He cared about them. He wanted to love them better. He wanted to help them through their cancer. That's what Michael was all about. And if you think about it, like his music, he had like, for example, I think it was where he did the moonwalk. I can't remember now. It was like oh God, I will think of it in just a moment. But he saw himself as a good guy. Which was why in his video, I'm trying to think. Oh, I do know it. It's just ridiculous. I've just got memory blank. But he was in a white suit, Smooth Criminal. That was it. He was in a white suit, and he's like, right, this is what I'm gonna do. So if you think of a good guy, like good versus evil, he's gonna be in white. He saw himself as a hero. He saw himself as a rescuer, the kind of guy in films you root for, the kind of guy you want him to win against evil. And exactly that. And if you wanted to have a relationship with him as a woman, he would be her hero. He would be her good guy. He would be telling her, no, this is wrong. This is the correct way. And he didn't like aggressive women who sort of flirted and came at him. He was then like any other guy. You chase him, he backs away. You chase him even more, he is gone. If you leave him, because this is the push-pull dynamic to him, because I studied the Enneagram, see? Type 4, what they have going on is a push-pull dynamic, which was also another thing I looked into. Look, this is been around for generations. This is 9 different personalities, 9 different types of looking at the world. He is a type 4. Okay, he is not gonna be a type 8. He is not gonna be a type 1 overnight. And if we have 9 different ways of looking at things, then who is wrong? Who is right? Nobody is. All we have are opinions. All we have are people's thoughts being forced on top of him. This is how to think. Michael had his own way of thinking. He had lots of different layers to him. Think of him like an onion with lots of different layers to him. He was an in-depth person, and he, as his friends and family would describe him, as nothing like the media or anybody else is portraying him. I just think at the end of the day, Wade and James are appalling. They should not be held as abused victims. And let's just put it this way, they are an insult to people who actually have genuinely been abused. Because Wade, come on, we all know he's in it for the money. One way or another, he makes money by trying to soothe the accents. I don't think he's worked a honest day in his life, and it's just not cutting it for me. From his trial in 2000, which started in 2003, him and his family were exposed as liars. Yeah, and now the only way to get people to listen to him, to get a fresh new audience, he is to come out 10 years later, when we have a new decade of people out there. And this day and age, people are more understanding, they're more sympathetic. They're like, oh my gosh, you've actually been abused. We have a generation of people who know nothing about his past, and a lot of people take things still at face value, because I'm guessing that they think, why would he lie about it? And this is what makes me so angry, because he is playing people by their emotions. And a lot of us are guided by our own emotions. He's very clever. He knows exactly what he is doing. And to get another person, James, behind him to come out with things too. So it's not just him repeating himself. He's not stupid. And I don't think that he thinks of himself as a fool, because he wants to make himself sound like a victim. That is how manipulators work at their best. They play you by your emotions, make it real, make it sound real to you, especially if you've been abused. And then when the penny drops that they've lied about something so disgusting, it's unreal. You'd be like, oh my God, what is wrong with him? Wade's head goes beyond the accepted normals of this world to get what he wants. I am thinking he had the mentality of, if I can't have my special relationship with Michael Jackson, then no one else will. Because of James and Wade, I know a lot of people who will fall into the trap of actually being manipulated, which is both the danger and the worry who, because members of the public genuinely believe him and they defend him. They're thinking, oh my God, he's so in pain and all this business. But what you have is people trying to relate to him through their own experiences when he has never had the worst happen to him. He was never terrified of Michael, so it was definitely not a rape, because that would be something completely different. But if he's telling us he's scared of him, he wouldn't hang around with him. He had his own family, and you know, there are a lot of things that do not add up. Things that he's done, things that he's come out with. I will say, with the was it? There was a I'm trying to think. Yeah, there was a conversation on the internet with AIM, and the maid came out with, when the police came, they said this looks like paedophile heaven. And I was so angry, because all of that originally was for Michael. He was a billionaire, and yes, he teamed up with Heal the World Foundation, and he had children with cancer come, but all of that was for him. And if we listen to him, we actually take a moment and listen, he never had a childhood. He can't take a walk in the park, he can't go to the store, he can't go to Disneyland as himself. People need to have a more profound understanding before they comment on Michael, because how can I put this? There are lots of different layers to him, and I think it's about time that we relate to him. I mean, I know what it's like to be bullied and the forms that bullying can come in. I know what it's like to have an untrue rumour spread all around school, where you know the truth but no one's bothering to talk to you about it. I mean, I had this one rumour. It went all around school. Even people up in the higher years of the school got here, and I had boys in the higher years come up to me and treat me like I was trash. And one lad used to pick on me the most. He would always give me dirty looks. He never left me alone for years, and I was so glad when he left. the whole school knew this rumour, and I had to go in every day and face them all. So I know what it's like to be humiliated and embarrassed. I even know what it's like to have teachers to look at your private parts, and even a girl at school who constantly pulled up my skirt so that other people could have a look. At preschool, okay, I remember telling a teacher I need toilets. She said no. And as a child, you are told to do what the teacher tells you. So if the teacher tells you you cannot go, I did not go. And I tried to hold on to it. Let's just say, as a kid, it didn't work out and I wet myself. And guess how they found out who did it? They got all the girls to line up across this room to lift up their skirts. Every single girl. So guess what they did? They put their head and that they go, oh no, this one's all right. But imagine what it's like for the girl that did. How scared I'd actually be, and how terrified, wondering what the hell was going to happen to me once they found out. So yes, I think if we think about things like that, if how we can relate to Michael through personal experiences, what it's like to be bullied, humiliated, embarrassed. And see, the thing is, everybody has suspicions, and suspicious people, they tend to read is honesty. Well, they don't really make it better, because what they are doing is making it worse when you talk to them, because they feel that they have an opinion and you are attacking it or challenging it or trying to get them to look at things in a different way. And a lot of people will hold strong to what they think is right. Again, personal opinions. I believe it takes a strong-minded person to take on, or at least gain a new perspective. Because when you only see things off your viewpoint, you only have a limited world view, and you are closed off from other people's views. And a lot of people, guess what, they don't like to have their beliefs to be shaken or questioned. So guess what, they will attack your beliefs and ideals because they don't want or like to feel uncomfortable, uncertain, or that they really don't know. So blame to them feels strong and certain that somebody else is the root of it all. But if they can feel a nervous kind of energy of another person, then they know that they have an advantage to be able to tell them what they think this other person should think like. Now, I'm not going to believe something just because I want it to be true. I don't work like that. But what you need to have is a good understanding of people, understanding body language, facial expressions, even these like micro ones. When they appear, yet they quickly get masked. You need to understand what drives a person, taking into account of their motives. And this is the kind of work that I do, that I research into. Just because I don't have a career doesn't mean I am not knowledgeable in the things that I do. I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly learning, digging into areas that interest me. But the things I'm interested in are not of interest to everybody else. Even my own family. They don't want to dig into a deeper meaning, as do a lot of other people. They don't care about understanding. It's easier to point finger. I can even understand them minds don't run a certain way, and that's fine. I accept it, because we need to learn to accept people as to how they are without trying to change this person into what we like them to actually be, because they're not the same as us. They're never going to be us. We think differently, they think a different way. Or what really bothers me is that because they can't understand a particular type of people, things like Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift, people of a more heartfelt personality, which is also in my book of Enneagrams. People go, well, that is wrong. They judge and throw things about like this person isn't normal because they don't want to understand. And what happens is these people come out with horrifying statements that are incredibly insensitive and cruel and downright hurtful. I mean, if they even listen to themselves, they say things I would never come out with. I would never treat another person like at all. Or they see it as telling the truth, speaking their minds, and they should be allowed. It's their tough, straightforward approach, or whatever they want to call it. You call them out on it and say what you just said was insensitive. They will just be like, yeah, but this is how I think. This is how things should be. Their minds don't run in a profound way. And when they see things that they don't understand, understand it. This person is a freak. This person is this, and this. And whatever comes out of them eyes. And Michael Jackson did not fit in with society's norms. He never let other people dictate who and what he should or should not do. And he went by his heart. He honest to God did, because he made decisions based on how he felt, how he could better connect to a child. And then when you have people who come out with these comments and these little plays on his aims, you know, I mean, it was like in an interview which I heard, where he comes out with, I have a heart, I have feelings, I feel that when you do that to me. And I knew exactly what book again to turn to. I have done my research. I strongly recommend other people doing theirs too, because it's real easy to misunderstand a person, or to go, well, your perspective is just wrong, I have the right approach. No one has the right approach, and if people do that, they haven't got the capacity to understand another person. And this is me, this is what I'm all about. I want to understand. I defend the innocent. I defend the misinterpreted, misunderstood people, the profound people, the people who haven't even got the words to explain. And if you have an argument with a practical, straightforward person, they always seem to win the argument. They always do, because, well, this is a fact. What you're feeling is an emotion. Well, how do you think we have therapists? How do you think we have these kinds of people who, you know, who are beside a telephone, and there's like a suicide line? Who does that? What type of person would do that? What type of person would look after sick kids? What type of, you know, exactly. Just because you go by feelings doesn't make you wrong. And Michael, he was all about speeches. He wanted to bring people together, make the world a better place. Every song he wrote, everything he ever did, he tried to help. He put out there who he was. It wasn't for show, goodness sake, no. I mean, people who do that, I think they are what's wrong with people in the world. People who have to be cynical. Cynical people don't understand genuine people. Because when you look for the best in people, that's completely different, as opposed to being judgmental, as opposed to Ian, you know, we all have a purpose. He found his. Do your research. Have your own mind. Do not be misled or influenced by media or anyone else who wants to change and pervert your mind. This is who he was. Listen to his family. Listen to Lisa. To the facts in the Neverland documentary add up. No, it was all a sham. And Randy Jackson has the key to destroying Everland.